Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything, Houston born and raised, H-Town Rebel Space Cadet Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, folks of all stripes, and distinguished guests, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your Houston sports podcast for diehard Houston sports fans. From a diehard Houston sports fan, I'm Paul Salazar Jr., your favorite diehard Astros fan podcaster. I'm an actor, improviser, writer, creative multi-hyphenate, and most importantly, I'm a proud Houston native, and I have the receipts to prove it. Folks, I know where Westheimer turns into Elgin. Okay, so don't test me. Folks, I spent the last decade or so as a writer, a comedy writer, I should say, here in Los Angeles, and now, I'm podcasting. That's what happens when you hit 10 years out here. You start absent-mindedly calling it the 10 instead of I-10, and you start podcasting. Welcome to said podcast. Space Cadet Sports started as a passion project because most media is infuriating as a diehard long-term fan of your Houston Astros and other Houston sports teams. Here we aren't doom and gloom, casual fans, or worse, the national media haters. We love our teams and want to root them on, but also want to discuss the ins and outs of our teams without too much homerism. It's a big ask, but we try our best. I'd like to welcome returning listeners and welcome new listeners to what my brothers call the Paul Broadpod Ball Blog. Hey, brothers. Shout out to my brothers. Shout out to Arrested Development fans. Check out spacecadetsports.substack.com for the full blog experience, or the full blog experience, depending on your interpretation of my mumbles here. As always, we're recording this transmission here in sunny Los Angeles, where I'm joined by my co-host and co-producer, the Roz to my Frasier. Carla, the dog, is here with me today. As always, like I'm saying, longtime listeners of the podcast know that she may get on mic from time to time. She's got the hot takes on this podcast. I've got the cool, reasonable takes in this day of hot takes and clickbaits. Clickbaits? Yeah, that's what they call it. I pluralize a lot of things. It's one of the Latino things that I do, I guess. Folks, I'm here for you in this clickbaity, hot takey society to try to keep you reasonable. Look, if you're looking for a podcast to get angry about sports, this isn't the one for you. If you are frustrated by all the things happening in this world and in this life, and you want to be happy about sports, or you at least want a place to vent about them and try to feel a little bit more positive at the end of the day, this is your place. We complain about the teams. We definitely get frustrated. We talk a little trash, of course, but we try at the end of the day to be making sports fandom a little bit more positive than it is out there on the interwebs. Folks, on this episode, we're talking about your Houston Astros taking a series from the Colorado Rockies. Of course, that's what we expected. Nobody's going to crown us. We're happy to see it, though. We're going to talk about that series against the Colorado Rockies. We're going to talk about Victor Caratini having an injury. Yordan is back. And, of course, we are going to talk about the upcoming series for your Houston Astros against the Los Angeles Angels. And before the podcast ends, we will spend some time talking about the 53-man roster the Houston Texans just released a short time ago. It just feels like that was yesterday. Of course, there already are changes happening to it today. Nobody is surprised. That's how it goes. But we will try to talk about that today. But before we completely get into it, of course, I want to wish a good day, mates, to all of our Australian listeners and H-Town hustlers out there. Folks, let's get to our podcast. Today, the Houston Astros won the rubber match against the Colorado Rockies by 1. They won 4-3, but overall, your Houston Astros did beat the Colorado Rockies in this series. We of course we are saying it'd be nice if they could win all 3 games here against the lowly Rockies, but also we know that the Houston Astros, you can call it playing down to their talent, to other teams' talent. You could say that they only show up for the big teams. You can say that all teams are great. It takes a lot to beat every single team out there. They're all professionals. No matter what narrative you subscribe to there. Well, no matter how you want to put it, the Astros did falter in their first game, but they were able to beat the Colorado Rockies at the end of the day, and we'll take it, especially right now with the division race going the way the division race is going, which is tight. And folks, I mean, look, we knew it was going to be a 3-team race at the beginning of the season. If you are just coming around to baseball, if you're one of those casual baseball fans, welcome. We want you here with us. This is a safe place for casual fans. I know that not everybody can dedicate their entire life to watching baseball. I watch every single baseball game. I'm a comedian. I say that I'm not a journalist. I try to let you know, hey, I'm a podcaster. There's plenty of podcasters out there that will sit there and talk till their face is blue to tell you how amazing they are so that you subscribe to their cult of personality. Look, I want you here. I want you to like me. I want you to like my takes, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be something I'm not, right? I watch all the games. I read almost all the blogs. I listen to almost all the podcasts myself. I'm a super fan. We knew as super fans that this team was in for a huge AL race this season, that it was not going to be easy. But with the Astros, I should say, having a little bit of a lead in the division, and that slowly dwindling away during August, fans have started to panic. I'm not there yet, folks. You know that right now, the official Houston Astros Space Cadet Sports Panic Meter, or I flip that around. It's the official Space Cadet Sports Houston Astros Panic Meter. Let's get that right. The Astros aren't panicking about the podcast. I mean, look, no one's panicking about the podcast. Of course, they probably want it to be better, but I'm not going to say they're panicking about the podcast. But we are not panicking about the Astros on the podcast. We're right. We're like, get your mojo right. We have a really low panic happening right now. Of course, we see that the Mariners are 2 games behind the Houston Astros in the standings. The Houston Astros are 74-60. The Mariners are 72-62. By all calculations, I'm doing the math right now. I have the abacus out, carry the 1. Yes, that is 2 games ahead of the Mariners. So I know it's tight, but we're not panicking over here. Of course, we need them to win these series, every series really going forward, but especially the ones against lowly teams that they should beat. So, it's a little frustrating they couldn't sweep the Rockies, I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's a little tough that, they kind of just scraped by this Thursday matinee game, if you will. But here on the podcast, we focus on the positives. We try to look at what we should be excited about. We are trying to be reasonable, of course. I am saying, of course, this is a little frustrating. You want them to take every single game. But there's 162 games in a baseball season. You literally can't win them all. A good team, loses 60 to 70 games a season easily. So, it's to have a reactionary kind of relationship with a baseball team is going to be a long season of emotions for you. Okay, guy? So look, if you're having big emotions right now, while the Astros just won a series, when they just won a game, when they're the first team in the American League West, well then, buddy, I just don't believe you're an Astros fan with me in 2013. I don't believe you're an Astros fan with me, in 1995. That was a great season, but I mean, like, you haven't seen a lot of heartbreak, have you? If you think this is terrible, this team is literally giving us a decade worth of great baseball, and we're over here worried. We're wringing our hands over being in first place in the division in late August. Calmate. I hit you with one of my famous catchphrase on this podcast. Calmate. But sincerely, if that is you, if you're getting really frustrated, I do ask you to take a step back. Are there other things you're frustrated in life? There's so many crazy things happening in this world right now. Are you frustrated with that? Are you angry with things happening at home? Are the monsters in the room with us right now? I do think sports can be a healthy outlet for things, but also, shouldn't we try to be peaceful and happy most of the time? I think so. But hey, if it's better than yelling at your kids, I guess yell about the Astros, I guess. I don't know. But with that being said, let's look at the games here, folks. The first game of the series was a 6-1 loss for your Houston Astros. That one was a tough one. In that game, we were all excited. Just a couple of days ago, Yordan was back. This welcome home game for Yordan was a bummer. Just like like there's been some tough games or homecoming type games, this season for Astros fans. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is earlier in the season, there was a lot of good home games. There was a lot more winning as the season has gone on. There's been less winning going on at home. It's been a little tougher. And coming back to this series where the Astros were, you're looking for the Astros to sweep this team. You're looking for every win we can get in a tight division race. The Astros come back to Daikin Park, and they struggle with Hunter Brown on the mound. So that wasn't fun. It was a tough game for Hunter Brown, tough game for Diesel. But what you can say about Diesel is he did go out there and he competed and he gave us a long game. He ate those innings up. When your bullpen is without Josh Hader, when you're looking for answers in your bullpen, you don't want to tax them too much. You want those starters to eat those innings. So it was good to see Hunter Brown go 6 2/3 of an inning in this game. He did give up 6 hits, 6 runs. 2 of them were earned. There was 2 errors by Pena in this game. Missed catch and a fielding error, which gives him 7 on the season. So I know it's tough to see Pena get 2 errors in one game, but let's, calmate. Let's look at the facts. The facts are Pena has been great this season. It hasn't been the yips like it was last season. So, we're watching to make sure Pena doesn't get the yips again, of course. But, it was just a very unfortunate game. Things spiraled a bit there. There were 0 walks for Diesel in this game allowed, and he did strike out 7, giving up 1 home run. Giving us that competitor that we know, even in these games where, in the 3rd inning, the team gave up 4 runs. At that point, the Rockies were up 4-1 in the 3rd inning. In the 5th inning, they gave up a couple of other runs, getting to that 6 mark. So it was a tough day for Diesel overall on the mound, but seeing him compete, seeing him give the team length, that's what the team needs more than anything, especially when it's a question mark whether they are going to win the game or not. You want your starting pitcher to go out there and eat innings and give the team length. So the rest of the season, the bullpen is a little more fresh. So I do see that as a win. I know that's a silver lining. People may get on me for my silver linings from time to time. People may get on me for the fact that I obviously have my washer and dryer going on in the other room right now. In my last podcast, the AC was blasting. In this one, you're definitely going to hear the washing going in the background. But look, folks, hey, if you don't like that background sound, go to spacecadetsports.substack.com. Become a premium subscriber. Help me pay the bills. Help me pay for better equipment. Go to paulsalazarjr.net and get some merch. Get a Carlo the dog hat. Support us. If you don't like those sounds, we'll be able to get better soundproofing equipment. Folks, with those jokes, let's keep looking at the bullpen here. Moving ahead to the actual game. In this game, Steven Okert came in. He pitched 1 1/3 inning, closing out that 7th inning and pitching the 8th, picking up 1 strikeout. And Caleb Ort, big dog, came in, pitched the 9th inning. He did walk a batter, but he did get 3 big strikeouts to end this game. With the way the bullpen is going, you need everybody to step up. And Caleb Ort has had a tough season, but he had a really good outcome in this game. For the offense, obviously a 1-run game isn't going to have much to positively talk about, but we will talk about as a team. They got 6 hits. Obviously only scored 1 run. They did pick up 6 walks with 7 strikeouts, which you'd like to see that ratio. We've been seeing that they're not walking a lot. They have been, the team actually is pretty low when it comes to team strikeouts. They lead The pitchers lead the league in strikeouts for sure, but the batters, for most of the Houston Astros golden era has been a low strikeout team. So we've just been watching that. This is good to see more walks, less strikeouts. The team was 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position and left 11 men on base. The solo run coming from a Jesus Sanchez home run in the second inning off of Tanner Gordon. That's Jesus Sanchez's 12th run of the game. Once again, it's situational hitting. It's slugging. We're looking at the heart of the lineup. The heart of the lineup had one. Well, arguably, we'll say the second hitter is in the heart of the lineup. So that's one hit from Correa and one hit from Jesus Sanchez in this game. We've been talking about that slugging. We're looking at the heart of the lineup. It used to be that the Astros 1 through 9 were power hitters. Nowadays, we're looking for the power to come more from the heart of the lineup, the slugging to come from there, and the Astros do better when that heart of the lineup is performing and slugging and obviously doing the job of driving in runs like you want to see from them. With that being said, we are going to take a quick break. We'll talk about the 2 other games against the Rockies. We'll look ahead against for the Astros against playing the Angels coming up starting tomorrow at Daikin Park. And we'll talk about the Texans right on the other side of this break.
Houston Astros, Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything, Houston born and raised, H-Town Rebel Space Cadet Sports.
And we're back. Welcome back to Space Cadet Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salazar Jr. I hit record right when that washing machine is going crazy, folks. That's because I love Selena. Anything for Selenas. That's what a strong Tejano I am, is that I have to have, even the noises in the background are Easter eggs for Houstonians to know that I'm such a strong Houstonian. Folks, I also have, my phone is going off. I always reset in the middle of the podcast for all you weirdos that start listening in the middle. You want to know what you're listening to and who it is. But my phone is going off. I have an SNL podcast, or I have a sketch comedy podcast, I should say, and you could listen to Sunday Morning pre-recorded wherever fine podcasts are found. But there's a lot of sketch comedy news going on right now. But let's get back to sports, folks. We're talking about the Houston Astros playing the Colorado Rockies as I speak over a loud washing machine. In the second game, it was a 4-0 shutout of the Colorado Rockies. Grasa, Framber went out there and pitched a great game against Chase Dollander, who really had a solid game himself, honestly. Some of that 3 runs coming post 7th inning there. So, got to give credit to where credit is due. It was a bit of a pitcher's duel for a bit, even though the Astros got an early first run. They got 1 run in the first inning that could have been more offense, arguably, but they did get, kind of scored first, shake that little monkey off their back, and they continue to have a good game behind Framber's excellent pitching. Framber Valdez went 7 innings pitched with giving up 3 hits, 2 walks, picking up 5 strikeouts. That curveball was picking up swings and misses again. It really looked like Framber was kind of getting back into the groove. He picked up his 12th win of the season. People have been very critical of Framber Valdez his whole career with the Astros. They've been very critical of him lately. He can be a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde type pitcher, but I think that's very unfair. I think when I look at Framber, what I see, in my humble opinion, is a guy that just wants to go out there and compete so badly and so hard. He is so passionate that he gets a little worked up sometimes. A lot of his troubles comes from overthrowing when he's pitching too fast, when he's just not locating very well. I think he just gets amped up. And I think that, sometimes comes across as extra emotion for people that are just watching. I think, baseball is a very slow pastoral sport. I hate it when people talk about body language in baseball and stuff like that. But I think Framber gets a bad rap. Not every pitcher can be super, super extreme consistent. And, he goes through streaks. And when he has a bad streak, it there's a lot of tough times for Fromber on the internet, I would say. I'm sure he doesn't check it. He's a big man. But, it's hard to see so much Fromber hate out there. When he is a pretty solid pitcher and is a solid ace, I think, when we're talking about Fromber potentially hitting free agency, there's so many fans, Astros fans, that are like, oh, Jim Crane's going to let another great guy walk. But in the middle of the season, they hate Fromber. So which is it? I really do you like him? Do you think he's an ace, or do you not? I think these streaks are tough, but I think he's a great pitcher. It was good to see him bounce back. We needed him to bounce back now. This is perfect timing for it. So it's good to see him have a great result there. Brian King came out and got his 24th hold of the season. Because there were 4 runs. Obviously, it wasn't a safe situation for Brian Abreu, but Brian Abreu got the 9th, picked up 2 strikeouts, and closed the door decidedly in that game against the Rockies. Offensively, there were some struggles. Chase Dollander for the Rockies really had a great game. In a losing effort, he pitched 6 innings and only gave up 3 hits and only 1 earned run, picking up 7 strikeouts. So, the offense wasn't completely going off here. Cam Smith, however, hit a home run in the 8th inning. In the 7th inning. Cam Smith hit his 8th home run of the season, kind of shaking that monkey off his back, if you will. Cam has really been struggling lately with Victor Caratini going on concussion protocol. There has been a lot of talk as to, if Cam should even have the roster spot on the team. If we need to shake it up by sending him to AAA and letting him figure it out on getting more of everyday starts down there in AAA. To see Cam Smith have a great game here, or go 1 for 4 and get a home run, it's what you want to see. Yordan Alvarez also said hello and turned in the air Yordan, hitting his 4th home run of his injured season in the 8th inning. I think that was Jeremy Pena that was on base. I'm sorry, Carla. You can wait. Come here. She wants to go outside, folks. So we might take a quick break in a bit to let her go outside. But, it was good to see those guys hit some home runs. Chicks dig the long ball. The team was 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position, leaving 5 on base. But they had enough slugging to win this game and to give us some hope as Astros fans. Cesar Salazar was great in this game, catching Fromber. And, he really is... He is kind of like that field general. He's obviously no relation. I say he's mi primo, but Cesar Salazar is a great defensive catcher, a great game caller, field general type catcher. In today's game, Cesar Salazar was able to get some hits on top of calling the game and catching it. He picked up 2 hits in today's game. Let's get to that. The offense won, obviously, in this game 3-4, getting just enough offense to win this game. Carla, it's okay. It's okay, baby. Come here. She's chasing a fly around, and she does not like that it's escaping her. In this game, Jose Altuve hit a home run in the 1st inning. He might not be batting leadoff, but he is still getting 1st inning home runs. Jose Altuve out there, who has been DHing a bit with Yordan back. I think we're gonna see. I think we're going to see a little bit more DHing Jose Altuve. To people that are like, oh, is Jose Altuve a second baseman? Is he a left fielder? Is he a DH-man? The answer is yes. And yeah, I am being facetious calling him a DH-man, of course. But, the answer, of course, is yes. This guy, coming into the season, we knew he was going to be a flexible positionally. The team wanted him to learn left field. The team wanted him to still get some reps at second base. And with Yordan in the mix, the team wanted Jose Altuve to get a lot of play in their DH. With Yordan back, he will get more play in DH because we have second basemen that can field better than him, and we have a lot of outfielders now. It's okay, Carla, come here. So, Jose Altuve DHing or Jose Altuve playing left field or playing second base is not us giving up or not knowing what the team is doing with Jose Altuve. That's part of the plan. In this game, Christian Walker also had a 2-hit game. He hit another home run. He actually hit 2 home runs in this game. I apologize. One in the first inning and another one in the 8th inning. The team was 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. But when you're slugging like this, when you're finding when you're running into those home runs, when you're finding success hitting throughout the lineup, you don't have to. You can get away with those kind of standard numbers. There was 2 Cesar Salazar errors in this game. One was a tough throw. The other was a catcher's interference that I really don't think should have been called. But that was tough to see after giving him his flowers. I still gotta mention that, mi primo. I'm sorry. I think it was a tough throw, but that call was ridiculous. I don't think that should have been the case. The summer of George continued in this game with Jason Alexander. Serenity now. He went 5 2/3 inning, giving up 7 hits. Definitely a good amount of hits there, but only 3 earned runs, giving up 1 walk with 8 strikeouts, which I believe is his career high. He did give up 2 home runs in this game, which was tough. But the bullpen came out and they gave up nothing, folks. The bullpen, De Los Santos, I apologize. De Los Santos, NL De Los Santos, I apologize. Steven Okert also pitched a third of an inning. Caleb Ort, Brian King got the win, and Brian Abreu got the save and 2 strikeouts at the end of the game. Folks, of course we don't want it to be that close. We want to win every game in dominant fashion, but we're 74-60 now. We're still ahead of the Mariners in the AL West. We have things to be happy about. Going forward, the Houston Astros are playing the Los Angeles Angels starting tomorrow night. That's going to be Friday for those of you who are not listening the same day I post. I mean, why would you do that? I don't know. But they'll be facing off against the Angels and Ty Anderson, left-handed pitcher who's 2-8 with a 4.73 ERA with 103 strikeouts on the season. He'll be up against Christian Javier for the Houston Astros, who we're still trying to see what will come out of his how he's bouncing back from his rehab. We'll see. Hopefully he can go out there and give us some length, not run into some trouble, find the strike zone, and really be efficient. He's been 1-1 on the season with a 5.40 ERA and 10 strikeouts. One thing to keep an eye on is today, Lance McCullers Jr. was available out of the bullpen. For all of the hand-wringing we've been doing about Lance McCullers Jr., it does look like they are going to be willing to use him out of the bullpen as the season has gone on and potentially into the playoffs. I do think this is a bit exciting. It would be nice to see Lance McCullers find some life here in this season out of the bullpen because of his struggles. We love Mr. Bury Me in the H. I think having him come out of the bullpen in September and hopefully in October and finding success, that doesn't mean he's going to be a reliever the rest of his life. That just means that's his role on the team going forward this season. So if Christian Javier runs into some trouble, we have a great long reliever in that bullpen in Lance McCullers Jr. And even, AJ Blueball, who was sent down to AAA, could rejoin the team, and we could have 2 amazing long relievers as options out of the bullpen for this starting rotation that is still trying to get back to full health. In the Saturday game against the Angels, that's going to be Kyle Hendricks, for veteran pitcher Kyle Hendricks for the Angels, who is 6-9 with a 5.04 ERA and 87 strikeouts on the season. He'll be pitching against Spencer Arrighetti, who's 1-5 on the season with a 6.21. I'm trying to make his ERA worse. A 6.21 ERA with 23 strikeouts. His last performance looks like he was bouncing back a little bit. We're hoping that he will continue to have less walks and keep competing in these games that he has like he has done in his last outing, is what I'm trying to say. Running out of steam here, folks. No, I'm just distracted by Carla here. So I'm trying to get her to sit down. The Angels in the third game, that's going to be I believe the Sunday game there. That's going to be Jose Soriano, who is 9-9 with a 3.85 ERA. 136 strikeouts. This right-handed pitcher definitely has found a lot of success statistically this season with the Angels. He'll be pitching against Hunter Brown. Diesel's going up there to try to bounce back. He already looked like he was bouncing back into the performance in his last start, but he is 10-6 on the season with a 2.37 ERA and 177 strikeouts. Diesel's going to go out there and shove, that's for sure. We're not worried about that. In the fourth game of the series, that's going to be our old friend Yusei Kikuchi pitching for the Angels, who is 6-9 on the season. Nice, with a 3.68 ERA and 156 strikeouts, and he'll be pitching against TBD. So we'll see who the Astros put into that rotation there. That could be maybe a Lance McCullers spot start. That could be back to the regular rotation if Lance McCullers is used out of the bullpen. We'll see what they do there. But with that being said, folks, let's really quickly, you know what? We're kind of at the 30-minute mark. The Houston Texans 53-man roster, that really could be its own podcast. So maybe I'll do that as its own podcast. Maybe I'll do that as an article there on the blog. I think there just is a lot of things there that I could say. Carla is obviously frustrated. It's been a long podcast already. I'm already getting mumbly-mouthed. So what if we just go ahead and call it, and we'll do that. Look tomorrow for a Texans podcast or a Texans article on the Space Cadet Sports blog for sure. And with that being said, that's going to do it for this transmission, Space Cadets. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please like it, rate it, review it, subscribe it, share it, bop it, kick it, skip it, smash all of those buttons for me. We are a small podcast and only go as far as our listenership takes us. We're supported by listeners like you. Doom, 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 doom. So please share with a Houston fan or Australian in your life and give us a 5-star rating wherever you are listening to this podcast on. People ask me, how can we support the podcast? What's the easiest way to do it? Well, if you like it, give us a 5-star rating. That is as good as gold. Other ways to support: check out the Substack. That's spacecadetsports.substack.com, where you can be a subscriber. Those subscribers, you get every podcast, every article, every meme dumped emailed directly to you for free. We have very little things behind the paywall, but if you want to become a premium subscriber, you can tell me what kind of perks you like as a premium member, and we can build that community together. Go check out the blog. You could also buy merch. Merch is here: aircraft carrier hats, Don't Sleep on Houston shirts, Carla the dog hats, and so much more available at my store at paulsalazarjr.net, because I'm nothing but net. Let me know what you think. Let me know, folks, on social media at Space Cadet Sports, at spacecadetsports.bsky.social, or you could leave me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/spacecadetsports. Or if you, like me, you got to this point and you want more stuff from me, you can find me making weird jokes, doing my laundry, and so many more things. Really, I thought I was going to beat the laundry timer, but I couldn't do it, folks. That's how you know that this has been a great podcast. I tried to beat the laundry timer and I couldn't do it. If you want to see more experimental art, if you want to see more avant-garde art from me, like the podcast where I try to beat my laundry, you can find me at Paul Salazar JR on social media, at paulsalazarjr.bsky.social, paulsalazarjr.net, where you can find my other Substack. You can find my merch. You can find all that stuff, because I'm nothing but net. Find that, folks, at paulsalazarjr.net. Now I'm trying to beat the dryer before it sings its song 2. Thanks so much for listening, folks. Remember to be the best that you can be. Keep your head up, kid. And as always, vamos, vamos, Houston.